She didn't cook like someone trying to impress. That was the part that stayed with me. For 3 days, my daughter moved through the kitchen with a seriousness that had nothing to do with praise. She read recipes carefully, rewrote them in her own handwriting, adjusted spices, tested sauces twice. She wasn't chatting or playing music. She wasn't posting pictures. It felt almost devotional. Every dish had a reason. This one's Nana's favorite. Grandpa doesn't like too much garlic. Auntie always complains if there's nothing vegetarian. She planned for 23 people, even though only a handful ever truly noticed her. I offered help. She shook her head. I've got it. I thought she meant the cooking. I didn't realize she meant the hope. The message came the night before the party. One line, no greeting. We've decided to celebrate at a restaurant. It's adults only. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. The phrasing was familiar, clean, final, as if no other version of events had ever existed, as if 3 days of labor hadn't already happened in my kitchen. I didn't reply right away. My daughter was plating something at the counter, focused, unaware. I watched her hands. Steady, confident, hands that believed they were building something meaningful. I didn't want to be the one to break that belief with anger. Anger would make it messy. Anger would make it about me. So I folded the phone into my pocket and said nothing. Later, when she asked what time everyone was coming, I told her the truth without giving it sharp edges. They changed plans, they're going out instead. She blinked.
That was all.
No tears. No argument. Just a pause long enough for something to sink. Adults only, she asked, already knowing the answer. Yes. She nodded, as if she'd misplaced something and was quietly accepting it was gone. I guess we'll have leftovers. I waited for resentment, it didn't come. What came was worse, adjustment. The kind that happens when exclusion is familiar enough to anticipate. That night, after she went to bed, I packed the food away carefully. Labeled containers. Froze what could be frozen. Treated it with the respect she'd given it. Then I sat at the table and finally allowed myself to think. This wasn't the first time. It was just the cleanest version of it. The kind that leaves no room for misinterpretation. No dramatic fight to recover from. Just a quiet removal. And I realized something uncomfortable. My parents had always relied on my restraint. They assumed silence meant consent. That I would smooth things over, explain things away, absorb disappointment privately. I'd taught them that. So instead of calling, instead of texting back, instead of asking for consideration that would never come, I made one decision. It wasn't emotional. It was administrative. Early the next morning, I contacted the community center where the party had originally been registered for parking clearance and noise allowance. My mother had insisted on it weeks ago, just in case. My name was on the form as secondary contact. I informed them calmly that the private gathering had been canceled and that no event would be taking place at the residence. I didn't add commentary. I didn't explain the reason. I simply withdrew participation. Then I went about my day. My daughter slept in. When she woke up, she reheated pancakes she'd made for guests who never came. I sat with her and ate without forcing conversation. There was a weight in the room, but it wasn't chaos with gravity. 15 hours passed. In the late afternoon, the doorbell rang. Once, twice, then harder. The door didn't rattle violently, but it shook with persistence, the kind that assumes it will eventually be answered. I opened it. My parents stood there, dressed too formally for our quiet street. Behind them, my aunt. Confusion sat openly on their faces, irritation just beneath it. What is going on? My father asked. The venue said the clearance was revoked. The caterer canceled access. We had people coming back here for dessert. I didn't step aside. There is no party here, I said. My mother's eyes flicked past me, toward the kitchen. Toward the faint smell of spices that still lingered. But the food was prepared by a minor who was explicitly excluded, I said evenly. So I removed our involvement. There was a pause. Not dramatic. Just unfamiliar. You could have said something, my father said, his voice sharpening. I did, I replied. By respecting your decision. Behind them, My daughter stayed out of sight. I'd asked her to. The community liaison officer arrived moments later, routine neutral, clipboard in hand. Not aggressive, just present. Authority without anger. He confirmed there was no registered event, that access had been cleared accordingly, that no gathering would be permitted on the premises. There was nothing to argue with, no one to blame, no spectacle. My parents stood there, suddenly aware that their certainty didn't extend everywhere. Eventually they left. No apology. No explosion. Just a quiet withdrawal. That evening, my daughter asked one question. Did I do something wrong? I met her eyes and answered carefully. No. But now they understand they don't get to benefit from your effort without including you. She absorbed that slowly. The relationship didn't heal after that. It shifted. Invitations became cautious. Conversations more formal. The old ease never returned. But something else did, a steadiness, not revenge, not victory. Just dignity reclaimed, without noise.